Malaysia juga menghadapi cabaran yang agak getir. Kadar pengangguran di Malaysia adalah di paras 3.9%.
So, isu yang tak settle-settle di Malaysia lagi adalah pengangguran.
Pengangguran meningkat kepada 5.0% pada bulan April 2020.
Mustahil ke kalau kita nak lahirkan usahawan sebenar melalui pendidikan tinggi?
Kalau kita tengok artikel tentang situasi di Malaysia, ada 200,000 graduan yang tak ada kerja.
Disebabkan teknologi yang berubah, perubahan ekonomi, perubahan pemikiran generasi baru, education yang dulu tu mungkin tidak lagi bersesuaian.
Dan mengikut anjuran Jabatan Perangkaan Malaysia pada 14 Mei 2020, kadar pengangguran dijangka akan meningkat.
Marriage, perkahwinan antara traditional learning and kemahiran. Welcome to the revolution.
Fantastic Friday, everyone. Morning, Sufi. Morning, Zati. So good to see you all again. So it's finally Friday again, or some people say finally Friday. Well, it's going to be the start of a weekend, and I think everyone's going to be excited. I'm not so sure about everyone today because it's the start of MCO in KL. So I think there is actually different mixed feelings. Some people like me, which is, I'm not sure, it's maybe because as we are talking about anxiety, and one of the key antidote of anxiety is workout. And this morning, I managed to do some form of workout, and the endorphins in my system has actually kicked in. So it's kind of like made me in the different level. All right, hey, morning, Princess Gugu. Hey, Atira, good morning. All right, so we are talking about managing anxiety, and as we're talking along the way, how do we manage people with anxiety issues? We were talking about where we stopped yesterday was anxiety is actually a fruit where people can see it and it materialize in our body, but because we need to always go into the root. Hey, Chane, good morning to you. Farah, morning. So what we're going to cover today, it's all about why people actually behave the way they behave. I mean, there are some people who have anxiety for the smallest issue. For example, I can give you a real life situation. This morning, I started the day totally excited. 15 minutes down the line, I get a WhatsApp from one of my team members. He said, Adrian, I'm done. I'm not going to play with you anymore. That means he doesn't want to be part of the team. So I said, okay, fair enough. So I have a choice then? Do I get worried, or do I have anxiety kicking in, or just won't allow it to affect me? Now, of course, it's easier for us to have a choice in the event that we are not being tied down or bounded from our past, where we talk about them, roots itself creates the anxiety. Because let's say, for example, if I lose an extra arm right now, if I'm actually the type that is really full of anxiety, or there's some roots that's holding me back, the first thing that can cross my mind is that, hey, I'm lacking one team member right now. Will I be able to reach out fast enough? Will I be able to hit the targets that's been imposed upon to me? So everything is a choice. But you see, then there's a different way for us to look at it. I said, well, perhaps this person is too emotional, and therefore the person may not be the best fit for the team anyways. So maybe the lesser the better. So it doesn't really matter what is it or whatever choices there. The main thing is the routes that we are going for. Because yesterday I stopped off at the place where people behave the way they behave, because one of the reasons is, whose love do they want when they were a child? Is it the father or the mother? All right, so many cases whenever I'm dealing with these people who have anxiety issues or worries, most of the time they will tell me it's either the father or the mother. Okay, it doesn't really matter the gender, but normally it's the opposite gender. That means if it's the boy, okay, it could be the father or the mother. Okay, the girl, normally the father or the mother, whichever. But they always say the opposite attracts. But yet at the same time, what I've noticed, that the opposite attracts is mainly because of their relationship and their love. But what we are looking at when they say whose love do I want more, is sometimes it's the fatherly figure that plays the most important role. Okay, so like for some, whenever the father is very, very strict, and whenever they don't achieve in school, for example, the father will normally say, hey, what's wrong with you? How can you not achieve? I provided everything the best for you. And therefore, what happens is that person gets the sense of rejection by the father in the event the person doesn't achieve. So is there any prize for guessing that when they grow up? Right? Because they've been wanting the father's love for so long. And one of the ways that they will be able to gain the father's love is when they achieve. So let's say this person goes on and said, in their mind, they are actually hardwired to say, if when I achieve equals love. When I achieve, my father will respect me. And achieve, my father will recognize me. And therefore, it becomes inherent within that person to be able to achieve. And then when MCO kicks in, like for me, I was sharing with you yesterday, right, that I had full day of meetings to no meetings today, because why? People say, hey, Adrian, it's MCO. We have to respect the law. SOPs, cafes are not open. So then I said, can we meet via Zoom? No, we won't meet via Zoom. We will actually meet after the MCO. Now, if I would be that person, what will cross my mind is like, nothing much will cross the mind, but the emotions within us will start like, hey, your timeline is getting on, it's ticking. You realize every day is going faster and faster, faster and faster. So that's how it works as well. Now, what else? I've also dealt with cases where the people, I mean, basically at home, okay, whenever they're at home, they have been criticized for not being good enough, or they've been comments that has been passed that this person will never be able to achieve. So what we are saying is that be careful whenever you're looking at bringing up a child as well. I mean, I just want to share this with you as part of the anxiety challenge, is because if you're going to be able to coach your friend or your colleague or whoever it is who is going through an anxiety problem, when you ask all these questions, sometimes what we have to do is to be really quiet and listen them out. You see, some people are just haters, and if you're not strong enough in terms of your own identity and your whole identity, you may be well challenged. And let's go to school, for example, you see kids calling people names. You see kids calling people, I don't want to be your friend, you're no good, you're smelly, you're dirty, whatever it is. But it really hurts. People say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words don't hurt me. I beg to differ. I mean, this is a personal opinion to say that whatever you say upon a person, it can be more hurtful than breaking a bone. Broken bones can heal. Words cut through deep inside. So what we're saying is that if the person deep inside is well hurt, then what's going to happen is that ultimately in life they will come out in a insecure position, and therefore anxiety is one of the fruits that they will Have you seen people as well? The slightest thing that happen, they are panicky. Slightest thing that they do, all right, they seem to be like rushing around everywhere. It's just because of what has happened in their life. And there are some people who are very fearful. Everything also fearful. Everything is like what if. And there are cases where I go in and coach, and normally you would hear there are stories that basically if you interview them or I ask them to go back, or when I run timeline therapy for them. Timeline therapy is a technique that we use in terms of internal healing. When we go in, we actually let the client or the person I'm coaching to see what has happened as in the past. Normally, they will tell you things that are not very nice. Things like they could be the parents thought about abortion when they were in the mother's womb. There are times when the parents are fighting. There were lots of insecurity in terms of finances, and all this fear actually went into the child because the child can actually hear. And this is all picked up in the unconscious mind. And therefore, what happens is that as a result of that, these people will have a higher chance of meeting anxiety level because deep inside that they are insecurity. The other thing is, if you were to look at a person's body shape, yeah, I'm talking about body shape, not body language. Body language is a whole entire syllabus altogether, which we have covered before. Back in terms of the past videos, if you're looking at body language training. So, do you know that a person's body shape, it's called bioenergetics. Now, bioenergetics is not created by Adrian Choong, right? Bioenergetics is a study in which that if anything were to happen to a person when the moment they were born or in the womb, when they're born, right up to first year, okay, second year, third year, fourth year, and fifth year, you will notice that the person's body shape will be different. I'll give you, for example, this: if there's somebody that is there's some issues during childbirth, they are generally very skinny in frame. They can be fat, but they are very skinny in frame. All right, or they are a person which is generally on the bigger side. What does it mean? They feel lack of love. Okay, so every single thing is a telltale sign right up to that. So when you look at a person, basically the anxiety is a fruit, the stress is a fruit. All right, the problems that I've shared with you on day one, when you talk about if you have the increased martyrdom, if you're looking at you don't want to talk to people, you are having a sense of you don't feel like eating and you are hiding yourself away and everything. These are just generally results of it, right? So it actually basically based on your core, okay, who are you when you're a childhood? Then what happens that because of the education or things that's been said upon us, it goes into the unconscious mind, it shapes a person and the person grows. So just like a tree, as it grows up, and it grows up, what we need is more sunlight and sunshine. So that's what we call by the environment. So when we call it the environment, that's where our working environment comes in and everything. And as a result of it, because our roots, depending on our roots, anxiety may come out as a fruit. And when it comes out as a fruit, then what happened is that it will spread off to other symptoms and causes that may affect our life in a long-term basis. So the idea here is that anxiety is something that you need to recognize. It's either you can do it for yourself if you're going into a panic attack or whatever, but the main thing is shift your focus, relax, keep that relaxed point on it, and move your body language. That could be one. Second thing is constantly exercise, watch your diet, watch whatever you consume, not too much sugar, take things that kicks in endorphins will definitely help you. Have an exercise. The key is to be able to find a coach or a friend who will be able to help you through the whole entire session, and then, or you can then after that get them to actually listen to today's video to be able to help you guide you a few points. All right, so if there's any other questions, do hit us on the chat or post it there. I will be more than happy to give you all more tips and techniques that comes along the way. All right, so remember, we can't control every single thing, but we can only control how we react to the situation. Ultimately, deep inside of us, we have a core of gold, and it's all of us to be able to find our self, the goal within ourselves. All right, till then, have a great weekend. See y'all again next week. All right, bye.
Malaysia juga menghadapi cabaran yang agak getir. Kadar pengangguran di Malaysia adalah di paras 3.9%.
So, isu yang tak settle-settle di Malaysia lagi adalah pengangguran.
Pengangguran meningkat kepada 5.0% pada bulan April 2020.
Mustahil ke kalau kita nak lahirkan usahawan sebenar melalui pendidikan tinggi?
Kalau kita tengok artikel tentang situasi di Malaysia, ada 200,000 graduan yang tak ada kerja.
Disebabkan teknologi yang berubah, perubahan ekonomi, perubahan pemikiran generasi baru, education yang dulu tu mungkin tidak lagi bersesuaian.
Dan mengikut anjuran Jabatan Perangkaan Malaysia pada 14 Mei 2020, kadar pengangguran dijangka akan meningkat.
Marriage, perkahwinan antara traditional learning and kemahiran. Welcome to the revolution.